Hello everyone. Have you tried HTML and CSS? What we completed last week? Any doubts you have in HTML, CSS? Are you able to do practical? Reply me in the chats. If you are not having doubts in CSS and HTML, then we'll go for JavaScript. Okay. So we'll see what is JavaScript. So it is a lightweight, object-oriented programming language which is used by several websites for scripting the web pages. So do you know about object-oriented programming? If you know, please reply me in the chats, yes or no.
No, ma'am.
You don't know what is object-oriented programming. Okay. So it is like you have given importance for objects. So you should know what is objects. It is a real world entity. Anything in the real world system, we can refer that as an object. If it is a living thing or a non-living thing, we call that as an object. So if you take an object, we can define properties for that object. If you take your chair as an example, chair is a real world entity. What is the properties of the chair? It's a shape, color, and its usage. These are the properties. If you take pen as an example, it's again color comes one property, then shape is another property, and its usage is different. We are using that for writing. So like that, every real world entity that is an object, if you take an object, then we can define properties for that object. Is that clear? Take human being as an example. So name, then skin color, age, all those things is what properties of human beings. Then walking, talking, these are the behavior. We'll tell how we are behaving. That is one kind of properties. Okay, clear? That is about object. Okay. So JavaScript, it is a lightweight object oriented. That means when we write program in JavaScript, we have to follow or we have to give importance for this objects only. So it is very easy for me to relate with the real world system. So if I take any user like that, what user properties I can implement there? So a website we are creating means there we have to give login pages. So what kind of users will come? What properties of the users you want to retrieve and you want to store in your website? So name, then age values, first name, last name, then what username he is selecting. All those is what properties for that particular user. So that one user is an object. So in that way, if you do a programming, that is what object-oriented programming. So here, this is JavaScript is used for creating websites only, scripting that web pages. HTML and CSS we used for what? We have just given the designing part only, how those controls to be shown to the user, so that how he can easily work with our website. So, okay, if I give a text boxes, he will come to know, okay, inside the text box, I can enter the details. So what is happening to that data which you are entering into the text boxes? Those processing we can do from where to it is giving to the backend section. All those things we can do using JavaScript. Okay. So only it is scripting the web pages we are telling. It is an interpreted and full-fledged programming language that enables dynamic interactivity on websites when applied to an HTML document. So whatever I'm creating, I can create a web page using HTML. So we have seen last classes and all. But that content, what I'm telling there, that is static. That it is not changing anything. If I place a text boxes, if I give a label, what color I'm giving for that page, that and all is what? Static form only. It is not changing when I am again and again, if you reload the web page, those properties it is not changing because that is in a static mode. But if you want to perform dynamically something, that means like a Google search window, you imagine. In that Google search window, it's when I am opening that Google search, that is my wish what to be searched, what to given to search. If any other person is using that Google search, it is his wish what is the content he want to type in that search box. So dynamically that page is working. So that is an example for dynamic interactivity. Okay, so according to my request, that web page is loading. It is not always static. It is loading according to the user input dynamically. So those dynamic interactivity, if you want to implement for your HTML document, we can use which language? JavaScript, we can use it. And what do you mean by interpretation? It is a translation only. It is translating that language into machine readable format like that. That is an interpretation we will tell. Okay. So it was introduced in the year 1995 for adding programs to the web pages in the Netscape Navigator browser. So one browser like Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, like that, we had a browser, this Netscape Navigator. For that browser, how to add programs to the web pages, they have introduced this JavaScript. And JavaScript don't have any connection with the Java, only the name it adapted, that's it. Because that time Java was so popular, so similar to that way they have named it as JavaScript. Other than that, no similarity with your language Java. Okay, so this much is clear. Why we need to learn JavaScript and what kind of language it is. It is a lightweight object-oriented programming language which we are using for the websites. And what is its need? We can create web pages using HTML, but whatever I'm creating using HTML, that is static mode only. If you want to create anything dynamic way, we'll prefer to use JavaScript there. Okay, fine. So JavaScript, it is an object-based scripting language, which is lightweight and cross-platform. What do you mean by cross-platform? That means platform is nothing but operating system that can be used in any operating system. It is not particularly works in Windows. It is not particularly working in Apple OS, nothing like that. If I create anything using JavaScript language, any web pages, the same thing I can work in Windows OS, Mac OS, Linux, everywhere that is working. So that is what it is, a cross-platform language we are telling. It is not a compiled language, but some translation we want. So how it is translating? The JavaScript translator, which is embedded in the browser. So which browser you are using to view your pages, web pages? If it is Google Chrome, that is already there. One translator is there. JavaScript translator is there in your browser. That is responsible for translating the JavaScript code for the web browser. So according to that, it will show the content of the page for you. Is this clear? And it is used to create client-side dynamic pages. Okay. So we are using this to work with the client side. That means when user is inputting any data, user details or whatever it is, that how to fetch the data, how to process those data and give to your backend. So those processing or retrieving the data from your text boxes, all those things we are doing using JavaScript. So it is a client side dynamic page creation we can do. Okay, clear? Any doubt? Is it clear what is object oriented programming and what is dynamic interactivity? Is that clear? Okay. Okay. Now we'll see how we will include your JavaScript content. Okay, so anyway, we'll use with HTML only because that creation or the content creation or how to describe your HTML or web page content, we are using HTML document. So in that, how we will use your JavaScript coding, that only we are going to learn. So you remember how we included CSS coding into your Java, HTML? We can do using three ways. External files we can create, internal is there, then inline is there. We have done last class. I think you remember those way, how to use external files, how to use internal, how to use inline. So here somewhat similar to that only, we have internal and external JavaScript. What was the thing why we need external file, why we need internal CSS file also, that class I explained. Because if you want to make all your web pages the same changes, we'll prefer to use external, or only a particular HTML page only, or only a particular web page if you want to make changes, then it is internal. And again, if it is only a particular element you want to make some changes, then it is inline. So here also same thing only. You can, if you want to make the whole website to be changed with the single file, then better to keep that JavaScript coding inside an external file. Or else only one particular web page only if you want to make the changes, then internal JavaScript file we are using. Okay. So that is only, you can either include the JavaScript code internally within your HTML document itself, or else separate external file and then point to that file from your HTML document. Okay. So that things only we have explained here in this internal and external. Okay, clear? So what is the syntax? So for that CSS, we have used this script. You remember that things, no? So it can be implemented using JavaScript statements that are placed within this script tag. Okay, you can place script tags containing your JavaScript anywhere within your web page, but it is normally recommended that you should keep it within head tags. So it is the syntax. Inside the script tag only we are writing your JavaScript code. Okay, we'll see the examples how to create an external JavaScript file and how to create an internal JavaScript file. And for the external, you remember, I think for CSS we have given the extension .css. If you are creating your JavaScript file externally, then the file extension should be .js. Okay, we'll see the example. First we'll see internal. Say like this. Here inside the body only I have given. You can give it in the head tag also, no problem. Both it will accept. Here we have given script and type is an attribute for that. Here we have specified what is the type of the content. This also I explained in the first classes. HTML only I have explained. Here we have telling that content should be in the text format and it is in the language, scripting language we have used is JavaScript, like that a declaration only here we are giving there. And here how I'll print something or how I'll show a value to my HTML page, because this is a language, this we have to embed it with our HTML document. For that we have this statement document.write. We will see what is this in detail. Now you just think this is a statement which we are using to print this value, whatever I given inside the function, right, that will get displayed to the web page or to the user, like that we can tell. Okay, so this is the content now I want to display. Welcome to JavaScript. It is a simple language, like that a text message now I am displaying. Okay, we'll see its output. So the text message which I have displayed or which I have written in the document.write function, it got displayed in your web browser. Okay. This is an example for internal JavaScript. We have used the script tag, and here type attribute for the script tag. We have specified here what type of content we are going to show there, text JavaScript like that. Document.write is a built-in function. Write is a built-in function. Using that one, we can display the text messages what you want. Not even text messages, whatever value, any data, username, all the first name, last name, all those information if you want, you can display here using this document.write. Is this clear? Any doubt in internal JavaScript? Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then we'll see external. See, I have already created external type of one JavaScript file like this. In Notepad only we have typed. Function we have created. Function is nothing but a block of statement which we are using to perform a particular task. So we will see again what is functions in detail. We should learn what is function, how to create a function, and also no need to worry about that one. This is a block of statement you think, and here this is the message now I want to display there. Okay. Instead of write function, here I used a different function, that is alert function. We will see how the output it will show for us. Okay, now this is a block of thing. This is my JavaScript file. See what is the file name I have given is message only, extension.js. Okay, now our actual program that is with HTML document. So here this is my HTML document. Okay, you can see here script tag now I have used in the head. So it is preferable to use that script in the head tag only. So better if it is external files, then we'll use that one in the head tag. Otherwise, it is not compulsory. You can use it in your body also. Okay. So script type equal to the text JavaScript, and src source we have given our external file name. See message.js. Okay. Now inside your body, we have a paragraph and we created a form. You remember how to create a form? In that input type equal to button, that also we have learned how to create a button, and its value is click. That means the name of the button, it will come as what? Click. And for the button, now we are giving some event. Event means when I click on the button, something should happen. When I double click on the button, something should happen. When I just keep mouse over the button, then some event should happen. So all those things is there. Again, that also we will see later in detail. We have to learn. Now on click is an event attribute. Okay, there we have given that function name. See, in this external JavaScript file, what is this function name we have given? It is MSG. So now that name only here we have given. Its meaning is you are invoking that function, or you are calling the function. When you click on the button, you are calling the function MSG. So where MSG is available already, the path URL here we have specified. That message.js like that, file name is specified there. So when I click on the button, the MSG function is calling. So the path is given there. So automatically, what is the content I have specified there inside that file? We are telling to give a message like this. An alert message we have to display. Okay, we'll see. We'll execute our HTML file and we'll see what is the output. So you can see here in our HTML file, we have given like this. A paragraph was there. So I got welcome to JavaScript, and see a button created, button name, that is nothing but value we have typed here, click. Now If I just place the mouse over the button, nothing will happen because we have given here event is for click. On click, we have told there. So when I have clicking here, so see, we got a pop-up message like this. This page says, welcome to JavaScript. Okay, this how I got this pop-up message, because here I have used the function alert. If I use alert function, I'll get this pop-up type of a message box. So if I click on this OK, that pop-up message will go. So again, if you click on that button, again it will come. So every time when I click on that, this pop-up message will get. So this we have created using this JavaScript. So clear? Any doubt? Don't worry, we will see again what is alert function, how to create a function. All those things in detail we will see again later. And this event also we will see in detail. On click, how it is performing, what are the other events and all we will see in detail. So no need to worry about that one. Now we just created an external type of JavaScript file. How we accessed that one in our HTML document. Only that much I have showed you. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. So that is only syntax we have explained. Now it is clear for you, I think. Inside the script tag only we have to write and we have to access using the HTML document. So two ways we can create it, internal and external we can create. We have seen how to create an internal file and how to create an external file. Okay, fine. If you have any doubts, you can ask me in the chats. See this HTML document you see. We have created again, this is internal only. We used with the document.write. You remember this tags and all. Emphasized, paragraph, italics, strong, like that. We have this tags. Using this one, we can create those type of text values. Okay, so this is also one way to write your JavaScript. Now same thing, different tags only, HTML tags, but we can write inside a block like this. See, these all three document.write statements we have given inside this curly braces. So if you want to arrange it properly, you can give as a block also. Both are same only. The previous example which I showed, this file also same. Here also if you want, you can give in a block, or here also same thing. Okay, clear? Any doubt?
Ma'am, but like heading one, para and all are there in normal HTML, ma'am. So why would we use it in?
See,
Like why would we?
See, in this, what is the thing is, we are just seeing now, this is a heading, this is a paragraph, that's it. But you think you have given some input. Okay, that input you have to do some processing, like you have inputted your age. Then the age value you want to check whether you are above 18 or whether you are below 18, like that. After comparing that value, then you have to tell a message, something like that. Then again, I can use this tags. So we will be displaying in our HTML with using HTML tags only. But after processing that age comparison or something, again, how I'll display to my HTML document. So that only here we are learning like this. Okay, we'll be seeing other examples, then you will come to know how it will work.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts? So now when you are learning JavaScript, we told about objects. What is objects and all, I just explained to you. So in this, Browser object model only it is using to interact with the browser. So what is the default object? That is window. Window is the object name, means you can call all the functions of window by specifying window or directly. An object of window is created automatically by the browser. So we have just used alert function, then we have confirm, prompt, open, close, set timeout, like this. All these window type of functions are there. Okay, so we have got a pop-up message. Now that is a separate window. I got it not in that browser tag only. Didn't get that one. I got in a different pop-up window. So how I got that one? Because this alert method or this function is a window object type of function. So only we got it in a different message box or a pop-up message box. I have got it. So this we should learn. What is window objects? We will see that one in detail. Okay, this is one type of object. Now another type of object is document. That also we have seen the examples. In the examples, to display something to the browser, we have given document dot write. So document objects represent the whole HTML document. So if anything you want to display in that HTML tags all these ways, we'll always prefer to use which one only? Document object only. So in the HTML page only, how you want to display your JavaScript values, we'll use document object. So when the HTML document is loaded in the browser, it becomes a document object. It is a root element that represents the HTML document. So only the differences. Okay, in that example, you can see how the alert function I have used. Have not specified the name window. Window dot alert and all we have not used there. See, directly I have used because that is automatically created by your browser. That is a browser object. We can tell which one window. But this document object, you can see how we used it. Document dot write functions, because that is for the HTML document only. Which object? Document object. How you want to display your JavaScript values or JavaScript processed values in your HTML file, we have to use with which one? Document object we have to use it. Okay, so in that document object we have again functions are there. Write function that writes the given string on the document. So within double quotes, whatever text messages you are giving, that will get displayed to your HTML document. We have seen the output, how it came. Write ln, similar to write only difference is what? It adds a new line character at the end. So if you have multiple document dot write means extra a new line is added at the end of every string value. So I'll get spaces in between two messages. That's it. Get element by ID, that returns the element having the given ID value. This and all we will see later. Get elements by name is there. Get elements by tag name, by class name. All those things we will see later. Okay. So you got an idea? We have object model, that is browser object model only. JavaScript is using to interact with the browser. What is the default object of browser? That is window. It means you can call all the functions of window by specifying window or directly. So only the alert function we have called it directly. An object of window is created automatically by the browser. So these functions, how it is working? Alert you have seen how it is working. A separate pop-up message box only we got. A separate window, small type of window only we got it there. Now we have one more type of object model, that is document object model is there. That represents the whole HTML document. That HTML document is loaded in the browser and it becomes a document object. Okay, so it is a root element that represents the HTML document. We have seen how to use the write. We have to specify first the object name, that is document, then dot function name, what? Write, write ln, get element by ID, get elements by name. All those things we have to type it. Okay, you got an idea how it is working? Any doubts? Now if you're learning a language, we will be handling with datas, then How the data I will be storing will be having variables. You are familiar with these terms? Or the first time you are listening what is data types, what is variables? Reply me. In the chats you can reply. Are you familiar with the terms data types and variables?
Ma'am, with the term data types, I guess not a lot of us are familiar, but with variables, I guess few of them are.
Okay, variables and all you have heard about what is that things, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that same thing only now here also we have, because this is a language. So it provides different data types. That means if I am telling, okay, an age value you want to store. So age you are typing. So age integer format. It is a whole number we will tell. So integer without a decimal point. Your name, that is a string value. If your subject marks and all, if you want to enter for some processing or something, then subject marks will come in a floating point format. That means a decimal point values. So like that, we will be handling with different types of data in our projects or different types of data in our web pages. How I'll specify that one properly, we should know about the data types and how this data we are storing. So we'll just enter in the text boxes now using HTML you created. You have implemented CSS also. So to make it more user friendly or interactive, we have made with HTML and CSS. Okay, you have entered the data in your text box. Then how the data you want to store, because the data you are retrieving from the text box, you are giving the data for the processing. So that time you need a variable, that is a location, a memory location, something. To that location we are saving the data so that I can use the data for my future processing. So that is what variables. Okay. So here in JavaScript, we have two types of data types. One is primitive type, another one is non-primitive, that is called as reference type also. So reference types together, it comes with object model, because we already told at the beginning, I already told at the beginning only what JavaScript is, an object based scripting language. So what is that objects, how we will refer the object, that and all comes under non-primitive data type. So it is a reference type. Normal processing and all, integer, decimal values, strings, all those things comes under your primitive data type. And here in JavaScript, it is a dynamic type language. That means we no need to mention the type first only. Like if I am going to use an integer, no need to type it is integer, a variable name, no need, because it is dynamically typed. If what is the value you are assigning for the variable, according to that automatically the variable takes the data type. Okay, so that is the meaning of dynamic type language. So you no need to specify type of the variable because it is dynamically used by JavaScript engine. But when I am using a variable, we have to use with a keyword var. So when I am using, one second. So when I'm using a variable, we have to declare it. How we'll declare a variable in the JavaScript? Using the keyword var. So var is a keyword. So keywords is nothing but reserved words in a programming language. They have already created some set of keywords for us. So if you want to mention it is a variable, you have to compulsorily use var keyword. Okay, which are the primitive types of data: string, then number, boolean, undefined, and null. These data types comes under primitive types, and non-primitive means object, array, regular expression. We will see these things in detail later, which are the non-primitive data types. Now we are working with only primitive data types. Okay, so is it clear what is data types, what is variables, how many types of data types supported here in JavaScript, and what do you mean by dynamically typed language? So no need to specify the type of the variable because it is dynamically. What is the value you are assigning to the variable? According to that, the type is changed. Okay. So if you want to use a variable in your program, then you must declare it. How to declare a variable here in JavaScript? Using var keyword. And which are the types? Inside primitive, we have string, number, boolean, undefined, and null. Non-primitive means object types only, array and regular expression. Clear? Any doubt? We will see examples for how to create variables. So here we used a variable first name. Before that, the keyword var is specified. So first name is a variable, and variable we are assigned with a value, or the variable initialized a value like this. How will display this value to your HTML file? We have to use the document dot write function and the variable name. Okay. Here you remember BR, break line. It will add a new line. So that also here I just printing to make our output more attractive. That's it. Without BR also it will work. This is one variable operation. We declared a variable. We have initialized the variable like this and displaying the variable value. The same file we have another variable. See again var last name. This is the value we have assigned for that variable, that also printing. Another one, another last name. See, we're just changing and saying what is the thing. That's it. Okay. So here first it was the first name, same variable only. Here I have reused it with a different value. Here also last name was the variable name. We have reused it with different value. That's it. Okay. Like that you can change the variable value whenever you want. It is not always fixed like this first name should be 1, 2, 3. See the same name only here I have used with a different value. Okay. So you see the output. See like this we got. Okay. Any doubt in these things? So we have just declared a variable, assigned a value for the variable, that is also called as initialization of variables, and displaying the variable value in your HTML file. Clear? Any doubt?
Ma'am, can you show the whole program again?
Yeah. Shall I scroll down?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts? So clear how to create a variable in JavaScript. You have to compulsorily use this var keyword space a variable name. Any name you can choose, that is your wish. And how to assign a value to that? Using equal to symbol, you are initializing your variable. How to display this variable value to your HTML? Document dot write function we have used, displaying the value. Okay, clear? Any doubt? Okay. Now we are seeing which are the operators in JavaScript. So if I want to do some kind of operations, arithmetic operations are there, then some comparison if I want to do, whether this value is equal to the other one, like this, any comparison if we want, then logical operators are there, assignment operators. So these are the operators which we have in JavaScript. And have you heard about the comments? So commenting we are using, that is to deliver a message. So whatever statement I have commented in my JavaScript program, that is ignored by the JavaScript engine, so that it will not get executed. That translator that will ignore the JavaScript comments. We can give the comments in two ways, by single comment, and the second one is multi-line comment. Single comment, it is two backslashes, and here it is slash star, and your code you have to end using star slash. So these are all you are familiar, I think, arithmetic operations, plus, minus, star, slash, this modulus, plus, plus, minus, minus. Are you familiar?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, same conditional, these all are familiar for you. We'll see examples for that. See here, we have created this A, B, C variables is created. The value assigned for A is 33, value assigned for B is 10. C, a string type of value we have assigned. And every time I want to use the break line after printing each statement. So that also we have saved as a variable value. See, variable line break equal to, this is the value. So no need to type this tag. Now I can type the variable name, which one? Line break, I can type it. So here we are printing document.write. Now the operation we are doing is addition, that is A plus B. So result is equal to A plus B. See, the result variable I have not declared only using the var. That is not required, because after doing this addition of A plus B, that automatically changes that as a variable of which type? Integer type. So that is only we call it is dynamically typed. So A plus B, that is 33 plus 10, the result we are storing in this variable. That variable only here displayed. After the first operation, line break I want, so that also similar manner we are doing operations for subtraction and slash division. What is the output it will give you? The quotient value it will give you. This is modulus operation. After division, it gives you the remainder. And here we have done operation for A, B and C. Here you have seen A is 33, B is 10 and C is a string value. We'll see the output, what it will show. And you know about increment and decrement also. The same operation we have done there. Same type of operations, only the changes we have to display using document.write to the HTML page. So the addition, normal addition only, subtraction value, division, and here it is the remainder value. A plus B plus C, it is not giving you any error. What it is doing means, first it did A and B adding, then test value it got concatenated with the result 43. So it is not giving you any error here. And here this increment and decrement operation also performed. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. Now we'll see examples for relational operator, that is greater than, lesser than, greater than or equal to, lesser than or equal to. Those things you can do. And see, you can see here this file. I have just commented some statements. Only one line is working like that. Just change into 20. See, right now, created a variable A, another variable B, 10 and 20 is the value. We are comparing those two equality. So equal to is the equality operator. Whether A is equal to B, that is the checking here. What output it will show you? It will show you true or false. So Boolean type of value only the output for which one? Comparison operators. So true, false, we have the output. So that is only it will show you. We'll see the output here. So A was 10, B was 20. So now it is showing that output as what? False. Okay. Here I have commented all other lines. So only your translator engine or JavaScript engine that ignored these all lines. But later if you want, you can remove this comment. This is a multi-line command here I have used and you can use it. Okay. Now if you run this file, see, now it is working for all other statements also. Clear these things? Any doubt? Okay. Now we have assignment operator. So equal to symbol is the assignment operator, but we can use with plus equal to, minus equal to, star equal to, slash equal to, like this. Arithmetic and assignment combinations we can use. This is a shorthand way. Okay. So instead of writing A equal to A plus 5, I can write this shorthand way, A plus equal to 5. Its meaning is A equal to A plus 5. So you are making changes to that same variable. Then no need to write like this A equal to A plus 5. You can write a shorthand method plus equal to. It will do the same step. Okay, here A value is 33. You are just printing the A plus equal to 5 value. So I got the output 38. And here in this file, I have not given a variable to store the result. Just I want to show the output. So no need of any variables. Directly you can do the operation in your write function. It will accept it. Okay. So similar to plus equal to, we have minus equal to, star equal to, slash equal to, same operations. So instead of elaborate and write like this, you can use this shorthand way. That is only plus equal to, minus equal to. Assignment operator. Then we have logical operators. So logical and logical or and logical not. Again, similar to relational operators, the output of logical operation is either true or false. So we will combine any other two comparisons together. If you want to take a true value, but you have to compare with one or more comparisons together, you want to take a decision, then we can use which one? Logical operators. So here you can see A have given true, B have given false, then we are telling A and B. So how AND operation is working? So it will give you a true value if both comparisons are true or else false. How logical OR operator, this is the symbol for OR. How logical OR operator is working? Either one condition is, or one comparison is true, OR operator gives you the true value. Exclamatory symbol is used as the operator for not, logical not. How it is working? Negation only, that means reverse operation. If it was true, we can make it as false using not operation. Okay, clear? So this is logical operator. Here A and B. This is A is true, B is false. So now the output it will be false only. You can see here. Because AND gives you true if both are true. Then only AND gives the true value. OR means either one condition is true. See here A was true, B is false, but then also logical OR operator gives you the output is what? True. And not means reverse operation. Actually, this A and B, it was giving false. You converted or you changed that one into true using negation or this logical not operator. Clear? Any doubt? We have ternary operator. Question mark and colon is the operator symbols for ternary. 1 minute, program will see. So this ternary operator, we are doing some comparison. Then we have a true value, false value. That is the syntax of ternary operation. See here, I just taken a variable marks. The value assigned is 88. And here the result of the student is printing. So we are checking or we are doing a comparison here. If the marks is greater than 50, like that a comparison, question mark. If the comparison is true, the first value is assigned to this variable result. If this comparison is giving you false, then the second value after colon, what is the value here I given, that will be assigning to this result variable. And the result variable we are displaying here. So now 88 is the marks value. 88 greater than or equal to 50, that is a true comparison. So the value for the result variable is passed. So that will be assigning here. So you see the output here, the result is showing what? Passed. Now, if suppose this we will command it. You can see have created variable with marks with a value 45. Same comparison only doing, marks greater than or equal to 50. Now 45 greater than or equal to 50, the condition is false there. So what is the false value? Failed. Failed is assigning to this variable result that we are displaying. We'll see the output of for this. So see, now the result it is showing as failed. Clear? Any doubt? This is ternary operator. So it is working with 3 operands. One is a test condition, then question mark, then another one is a true value, then colon, then the false value. So it depends upon this condition, true or false, this values is assigned to this variable. Any doubt in this? So these are the main operators in JavaScript. Clear? Any doubt? If any doubt is there, you can ask me in the chats. And how to use commands. So if I use commanded lines, your JavaScript engine that is ignoring that one, it will not execute the statements, commanded statements. Okay, we can give single line command and multi-line command. Okay, fine. Clear? If you want any examples for the commands, you can give like this. This is a statements we are telling about this document.write. A single line comment. We are writing a heading like that. We are giving an information to the other people. So if the person who don't know anything about this one, okay, they'll come to know. This is writing 2 paragraphs. These 2 lines is writing 2 paragraphs. And here we have given the command. It is a multi-line. It is writing 3 paragraphs like that. We have given the commands. Okay, clear? So we have learned how to create JavaScript file internally and externally. We learned about the window object and document object. In that, which one we are using now? Now I used this document. Other thing we'll see later. Now, how to give variables, which are the data types available here in JavaScript. Two types, primitive and non-primitive. In that, how to create variable, how to assign to that variable, and how to display the variable value in your HTML. That also we learned. Which are the operators used in JavaScript, and which are the comments in JavaScript. Okay. Okay. We'll take 10 minutes break, then we'll continue. Hello. Now we'll see what is conditional statements in JavaScript. So I think this also you are familiar, like operators, if else, if else if. Then we have switch, looping statements, for loop, break, continue. All those things you are familiar. I think so. So we'll see what is the syntax of if else and why we need conditional statements. See, we have done one program for ternary operator. Like that student is passed or failed, like that program we have done. In that, what we are checking, if the marks is greater than or equal to 50, then we are just printing a message what passed. But the situation now here it is, if I want some other operations to perform, if the marks is greater than or equal to 50, then we have to do some other condition based or some other statements if we want to perform. Then it is difficult to do that one with your ternary operator. For that, we'll use this conditional statements. So here, if is a keyword. Inside the bracket, we'll give the expression that to be evaluated to check or compare something. If the condition or this expression is giving you true, it's meaning we have to execute this block of statements if it is true. Else means the false statements. If the expression is false, then only it will go for the else. It will execute the other set of statements there. So one example for if else we'll see. So here we have given age is a variable. The value assigned for the age is 20. Now here I'm checking a condition. If the age 20 is greater than 18, then this is the message now I want to display that qualifies for the driving like this. And you can see that I have given in bold. See, we have done an operation now, or a process is done. In that, how to view that message in your HTML page or how to view that one in your web page. Again, you can do the stylings or the bold tag or the CSS things you can implement for these messages. That only we have learned. HTML and CSS, that is just describing the content only, how that should be showed to the user. After this operation, now how this message I want to display for the user, again you can use your HTML tags and all here. So here just it is printing, you are qualifying for driving like this. Okay, this is the message. So output only that one we will get. We have given only if statement. Only true condition also you can give. It is not always compulsory to give the else. Depends upon other logic which we are working. So now we got the message like this. It qualifies for driving. If you want to give color, that also you can give. We have seen in CSS, no? The same thing also you can implement it here. Okay. If this is false, the false we are representing using else. So again, else is a keyword. What you want to display with the else. So here we are printing not qualified for driving like this. So close to the else also. saved it. So here the age value now have changed it to like this 12. We'll save. So now else part is working. So if you want both true and false to be executed, it depends. Then I can give if else, or else only if part. You want only a true condition, then only the if block is enough. No need of else part. Okay. So this is your if else. Now else if else if is there, that we are using for multiple conditions. That means if expression is true, we have the true values to execute. If the expression one is false, another expression is there to check. That means another choice of values or another condition is there to check. So else if another expression, if that is true, this block of statements it will execute. Again, expression 2 is false, another else if I can give for expression 3. Like this, n number of else if statements you can give, depends upon the logic. If all these expressions are false, then the last else case it will execute. Okay. So this is if else if used to check multiple expressions. So it is not depends upon the comparison. It is not depends upon a single expression or a single condition. If one is true, that particular true value. If that is false, I have another choices to execute. That is this else if we are doing. One example we will see for else if. See here, book is a variable. The book value I have given is max. Now we are checking if the variable book is equal to this value history, then we are just displaying that is a history book. Else if we have another choice, we can check whether it is equal to max, whether it is equal to economics. Like this, I have given multiple else if statements. If this is not matching, whatever value you have given, it is not matching, then else part will work. It will show that is an unknown book, like that a message we are displaying. Right now we have given that is max. So we'll see what is the output. It will show the book is max book, like that it will show you. See like this. If I change here anything value, suppose I'm giving English, we'll save it. So now it checked all the if conditions. First if it is not matching, else if, second condition also not matching, third condition also not matching, then it is executing the last one, else case unknown book. So this is the working of else if ladder. So if you have multiple choice values to execute, you have entered the marks of the students through your HTML page, you have entered the marks, then you want to display like this, some page you have created. So student grade only you want to display. So you calculated the total of students marks, plus then you found the average. Depends upon the average, you are giving the grade, A grade, B grade and all. Then you have to use this conditional statements there. Then you have to display the values. Okay, clear? Any doubt? So this is if else if. Now switch. Switch is similar to else if only. That is also used to execute one code for multiple expressions. Okay, what is the difference means, there we have to give a conditions and all. In each else if I have to give with the conditions, but here we will match with the expression values only. So integer values I can give, character type of values I can give, strings I can give. So in that value wise only it will work. Switch expressions. So case value 1, the code to be executed, and here this is a break keyword. We will see how break is working. Case another value, break, like this n number of cases we can give. Similar to the else case in else if, here we have a default keyword. If the expression is not matching with any of these cases, then the default will be executed. Okay, switch is a keyword. Case is a keyword. Values, it depends. What type of expression here we have given, according to that values it is taking there. It can take integer, it can take character type. Okay. Example for switch. See like this. We have given variable grade. The value is A. So here we are just printing, entering the switch block like that a message. Now the variable only the switch expression. So what is the value inside this grade? That is only the cases we have to specify there. So this grade variable can take values A, B, C, D like this, F values it can take. So according to that, we have given all the case blocks A, B, C, D. See, all are character form. Okay. Now, if the expression or the variable is A, then it will match the first case only. We are printing a message like this. And break is used. If it is not matching with A, then we have B to check. If it is not matching with B, C is there, D is there, F. If other than these letters, any other letter we are assigning to this variable grade, then the default statement will work. It will show some unknown grade like that, it will show. Okay. So right now the value assigned for the grade variable is A. So we'll get the output, good job. So see the output. So we have just displayed to show we are entering the switch block. After that it evaluated that case A is matching. So that particular statement executed and exiting the switch block. Now here suppose have given F. So now A checked, first case is not matching, second also not matching, third also, the last case only matched there. So we got the failed message. Suppose have given here letter M. So now it is not matching with any of those case values. So the default statement is executing what? Unknown grade it is executing. Okay. Now suppose here in this syntax, this program we have used break with all the cases. I have removed the break from all the cases. And here the grade I have specified is F. So what it is doing? I have specified F. So it is not executing the first one, second one, third, fourth, and all. It is not executing. Failed, it matched. So that statement I got. After that, we had default. That also it is executing. So that we don't want. See, suppose if I give there A. So now what it is showing? All the cases it is showing for you. It is matched with A. After that, no restriction there. So immediately it will execute the next case also. Then next case like that, what all case values we have given inside the switch block, everything will get executed. So what is the logic of switch case? If one expression, this expression is matching with any of this case value, only that particular case should work. No need to execute the whole cases, because we are just picking only one option like that. So for that, don't want all the cases to execute. So we are telling here to break. Break is a keyword. It's a control keyword we'll tell, or a control statement. So if I use break, it's meaning after completing the case A statements, exit from the switch block. No need to continue for the next cases. So you can write break there, so that it will exit from your switch block. Okay, so that is the usage of break keyword. So we have seen how to write switch without break, what is the problem, and what is the syntax of switch cases. Clear? Any doubt? So this is your conditional statement: if else, else if, and switch. Now we have looping statements. That also
Ma'am,
your
once can you show the whole
yeah,
syntax?
1 minute.
You can scroll, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So any other doubts? So this is conditional statements. Next we have looping statements. That also you are familiar: while loop, do while, for loop, same looping statements only. So what is the need of looping statements? If you want to execute any lines repeatedly, n number of times, then we'll use looping statements. That is also called as iteration statements. So while, what is the syntax? While is a keyword, expression. If the expression is giving you true, then the statements is executing, and the statements is repeating until this expression becomes false. So we'll see one example for while. So a variable count is created. We are printing a message starting loop, and while condition is giving what? If the while count is lesser than 10. So starting value of count is 0 until the count reaches 10 value. We are repeating this line. So what is the repeating line? Printing the variable value count. So here initially count is 0. So first time the current count, it is showing what? 0. After that, for the next iteration, that count variable we have increment. So count plus plus we have done. So here count changes to 1. Again the while condition checking. Now the count is 1. 1 lesser than 10, that is true. Printing the count value. Count again incrementing like that till where it will work? Till it reaches 9. After printing the 9th value, count incremented to 10. 10 lesser than 10, it is checking. The condition is false. So it exits this block automatically. So the loop body is exiting automatically. So that is while loop. Syntax of while loop. Okay. We'll see the output. So see, starting value, it was 0, and current count 1, 2, 3 till where it worked? Till 9. After that, condition of while loop became false. So it exited your loop, and this message also printed. Loop stopped like this. Okay, fine. Next type of looping syntax is do while loop. So do while loop is similar to while loop only, except what? The condition check happens at the end of the loop. In the while syntax, you can see the first initially only the condition is checking. Then if it is true, then only it is executing the statements. But in the case of do while, it is not checking at the first, at the end of the loop only the condition is checking. So the loop will execute at least once, even if the condition is false. Only that is the advantage of do while loop. So it doesn't matter whether condition true or false, you want at least once the execution to be happened. Then I can prefer which one? Do while loop. Otherwise, while loop only will use it. Okay. So do, that is a keyword. So it is telling do these statements, then checks the condition. After, when this condition is true, then repeat it again, or else terminate the loop there itself. So that is a syntax. See the example for this. Same example we have done using do while syntax. That's it. So here variable count is 0. We are printing what is the count value. Count is incrementing. So all these things is inside the do block. After that, the while condition. So here condition is iteration is still 5 only. Count is lesser than 5. So we will get output till 4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 only we'll get the output. Only difference is we have given that condition at the last. See like this. So if initially the condition is false, then also no problem. At least one iteration I'll get, or at least once the statements will be executing. That is the difference between while and do while. Okay, clear? Now, another type of looping statement, that is for loop. So what is the differences? While is there, do while is there, for loop is there. If you know the range of iterations, that means a starting point, ending point, if you know, it's better to use for loop only. So initialization, semicolon, test condition is there, semicolon, then the iteration statement. Working is similar to while loop only. First the initial value. With that initial value, we are checking a condition until where it should work. If the condition true, it will enter the loop statements. Then after completing that loop body, then it performs the iteration for the next execution. Okay, so working is same, but syntax wise some difference. For is a keyword here. Okay. The same thing only. Syntax wise, we changed that one into for loop. Count starting with 0, count lesser than 10, count plus plus. The previous while and do while, these three steps were in different lines. Now this initialization, condition, incremented decrement, that we have given in a single line using the for loop. Okay, for that count we are printing, that's it. So we can, if you know the range of values, it's better to use for loop syntax, or else if you don't know the range of iteration, we can use either while and do while. In while, first only it checks the condition. If the condition is true, then only it will execute the loop body. If the condition is false, no iteration. But in the do while, at least once it executes, then it checks the condition. That is the differences. Okay, fine. Any doubt? So now control statements is there. That is only break and continue. I think this also you are familiar. Break already we have used with switch. Now what is its working? When I use this in a loop, how this break and continue is working in a loop. So break statements that jumps out of a loop. Continue means jumps over one iteration in the loop. Or we can tell continue skips an iteration and continues for the next iteration. But break means that skips and terminate your entire loop. Okay, so that is the working of break and continue. This example we'll see. So here a for loop is used. A variable is created I. Inside the for loop, the I is initialized to 0. Iteration is still 10. Then I plus plus. Here, first I am using with break. Inside the loop, if the condition true, it will come inside. There, and if condition is given, when this iteration value I is equal to 3. If it is equal to 3, then we are telling to break. That means we have to skip that iteration value. That means I equal to 3, that will skip, and it terminate your entire loop. Actually, after 3, we had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 iterations were there. That and all, it will not execute. It terminates your loop till. Okay. So after when the condition is false, we have given the statement to print the I value. You see the output of this. So it printed I values only 0, 1, 2. After that, I became 3. So your iteration I value is 3. So this condition is true here, if condition. So we used here break so that it terminates your entire loop. It is not continuing for the next iteration. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It is not continuing there. Okay. So that is the usage of break statement. Now the same example, instead of break, if I use continue, what will happen? So now what is the output? It printed 0, 1, 2, but iteration value 3 it is not printing because it skips that value but continues for the next iterations. That is the difference between break and continue. Okay. So these all comes under your looping statements, and we can use break and continue with your conditional statements also. So if we have learned switch, then looping statements, while, do while, for loop, how break and continue is working with these statements. Any doubt in these things? Clear? Okay. Now another important concept we are learning is about functions. In the first program only we have used, in the external type of JavaScript, we have used a function. So what is a function? How to create functions in your JavaScript, that only we are going to learn. So function, we can tell that is a group of reusable code which can be called anywhere in your program. This eliminates the need of writing the same code again and again. So functions, we already used built-in functions like write, alert function is there. So all those things, what is the usage? Whenever I want to display anything to the HTML page, we'll use the write function, write ln you can use, or whenever you want to show any pop-up message box, we'll use alert function. So they already created those functions for us. So again and again, we are reusing that function whenever you want. Same manner, if you are creating your own logics, you can create user-defined functions. So that how do you create, we are learning. Okay, so it's advantage only here we return. It is a group of reusable code. So once only we'll create it. Any number of times you can reuse that group of statements. So anywhere in your program also. Okay, so this eliminates the need of writing the same code again and again. So function is an important concept. How to define a function or how to create a user defined function. So before we use the function, we need to define it. So how to define that function here in JavaScript? We use the keyword function. So function keyword, you have to use it, followed by a function name and a list of parameters. That can be optional. Without parameters also I can create it, and a statement block surrounded by curly braces. That is a syntax of function creation or function definition. So inside your script tag, you can create a function like this. Function keyword first, then a function name. Inside parenthesis, we'll give the parameter list. Then curly braces will give the block of statement. What is the task you are assigning for that function? Okay, clear? We'll see examples how to create functions. We can create 4 types of functions. So the 4 ways you should know. It depends upon the logic. We'll create the 4 types of function. Function with no argument or no parameter, no return value. Then with parameter, without return value. Then with return type, without parameter, with parameter and with return value. Like this 4 types we can create it. Okay. The first one I'm showing is function with no parameter, no return value. Okay. So here you can see inside the head tag, we have created the function. So scripting tag, function keyword is used. Say hello is the function name which I creating. Now document.write, just I'm printing like this, a message. Okay. how I'll use this function now. Now this is a reusable code. Whenever I want this message to be displayed, I can reuse this content there. So here, how I'll use this function definition, we have to remember what is the function name here we have given. Okay, you remember no, this button creation on click, the function name we have specified. My button name is also same thing, only say hello. So actually here what we are doing is we are invoking the function, or we can tell we are calling the function. So what will happen? It will go to that definition part. Inside the definition, what is the statements we have given, that it will execute for you. Okay, so that is only this method. So you can see here, if I click on that say hello button, it is showing hello there. How it showed that hello there? Because in this button on click, have called the function say hello. So here is the definition say hello. And if I click on that, the definition part is working. So I got the message here like this. Okay, clear? Any doubt?
Ma'am, what if we have to keep the previous messages and put hello there? Like,
Sorry, I didn't get you. Once again, you repeat.
ma'am, like now there were like 3 lines, ma'am, and then those like went off and only hello there is there. So what if we have to put those 3 lines and then the hello there also should come,
Which
like
is
in the
3
same
lines?
page. The written thing, ma'am, the button and the.
This is in the single file only. No, see the script tag I have given inside the head.
No, ma'am. Like on when we load the syntax, ma'am. So it was like when we clicked on the button, a new only hello there came.
Yeah.
So what if the button and all should also be present and hello there, like how we did the pop-up box, ma'am?
Okay, then alert message I have to give.
Without the alert message, it won't happen. Like won't just
That
hello there
pop-up-
come like in the next line or something.
That pop-up messages and all we have to create using alert function only.
No, ma'am. If it is not a pop-up message, if it's like in the next line only, we have to do it. It won't happen that way.
See, you are asking me here itself. You are asking.
Ma'am, like you reload this page, ma'am. So these 3 lines are there,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay,
If
okay.
we click on
After
say
this,
hello.
okay.
Yeah.
No, that it will not happen. It will show separately only.
Okay.
Or else you have to give that script tag here. If you give that one, okay, 1 minute. Have given that script. Okay. Then also see, it is showing in a different page.
Okay.
Any doubt? So see this function. Here only I'm giving. See, in this function say hello, we don't have parameters here. This is an empty bracket. And this function is not returning any value.
Both are nice only actually. But this feels like.
Can you please mute your
But
voice?
because the house and all over, maybe after the house and the way we came back, that was like, yeah. Okay. And
Okay, so that is the first function we have created. So say hello function without parameter and it is not returning any value. Now the second type we are creating function with parameters, but again not returning any value to the function. So you see here, same say hello is the function, but now this function is taking two parameters. That means two variables which consist of some data. So some value is there. So here just we are printing the name is this value and the age is like this. We are printing that messages. Same button creating on click, and difference is what? See, while calling the function, now we are passing these values to the definition. So when I call, it will go to the definition part. Their first value we are passing is for the name variable. Second value we are passing is for the age. So it will take that order wise and we are getting the output like this. Okay, you see the output. So if I click on that one, I'll get the message like this. Okay, how these values we got? Because while calling, we have passed these values to that function. So now it executed with this passed parameters. So that values which I passed, they are called as parameters. Okay. This is the example. Clear? Any doubt? The function we can create with a return value. That means it is operating something. After that operation, it is giving you a return value to the place where it is called. Okay, so see here, we are creating a function that is getInfo function, and this is the value we are returning. So I'm just returning a string type of value like this. Hello user, how are you? Like this, a message I'm returning. And in the script, see in this body tag only, we have called document.write getInfo we have called. Okay. So see, now I got that message. Okay, here no button, nothing. Without that also we can create it. So we got the message like this. Any doubt in these things? So now this function is a return type function. Okay. Now the last type, we are passing parameters and it is returning a value also. See like this. Inside the body, we have the button. We are calling a function, second function. And when it goes to the second function, here we are calling another function. See, now you can create any number of functions, not always a single function in the file. Any number of functions we can create it. We can combine and use like this. So concatenate is one function which we created separately. We are calling that inside second function, passing these values. Okay, so it will go to here. There what we are doing is plus operation. That means two string values it is concatenating and storing in this variable full. And how we return the value? Return keyword is used. Return back to where I called this concatenate function. It will come here, the value storing in this result variable, printing that value here. So second function is not returning anything and it is not having any parameters also, but inside second function we are calling a concatenate function which is having parameters also, return value also. So in any manner you can create the functions. It is not always no parameters. With parameters and without without return value also you can create it. That is your wish. How the logic you want to implement, according to that you can create any type of functions. Is this clear? Any doubt? We'll see this output. So see, have passed Java and script. Two separately, two values I have passed there. After concatenation, it is showing that as a together value. Okay. So this task we have implemented using functions. So functions are very important. When we do real-time examples, we need to know how to create functions, how these 4 types of functions we are creating. Function with no parameters, no return value, and function with parameters. So how to pass this parameter value, or we call it as arguments. Okay. And third one, function with only returning a value. So here this return is a keyword. So we have to use this keyword to return any value from the definition to the function call. And here the last one is with function with argument or parameter and a return value. Is this clear? Any doubt? If any doubt
Ma'am,
is
can you show the whole program again?
which program you want? Last program.
Yes, ma'am. Concatenate only. This one only, ma'am.
Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, can you scroll down?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Any other doubts? If you have any doubts in functions, you can ask me in the chat. So now I'll give you one question. You have to try. This is just to try the functions only, because you should know how to create functions. Okay. So the question I'm typing in the chat. Is that okay, or in a notepad file? Which one you want?
Ma'am, you can type it in the chat.
Okay. So the question is, create a function to find the largest of two numbers. You have to try the 4 ways which I showed you. Without parameters and without return type. With the parameter, without a return type. Then without parameter, with the return type. And the last one with return type and parameters. Okay. So that is the question that you try. Then you will get to know how to create functions. Okay, fine. Any doubt is there? Next class you can ask. But you have to try this one, how to create a function. Okay, fine. Any doubts?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So today we have started with JavaScript, right? What is JavaScript language? What is its features? So we have seen what is the features. It is an object-oriented programming language. Object is what I told. It is a real-world entity which is having properties. So we are doing programs on the basis of objects only. So JavaScript is an object-based scripting language, and it is cross-platform. That also I told you. It does not depends upon your operating system. In any operating system that will work. It is not a compiled language. It is an interpretation only. That means just translation only it is doing, not any intermediate code conversion. It is used to create client-side dynamic pages. Are you sorry, you got it? What is dynamic interactivity or dynamic web creation? Then how to create your JavaScript file? Either you can create it internally or you can create externally. Externally, if you are creating JavaScript file, we have to save the file with .js extension. then we have to embed that with your HTML document. Or else if it is inside your HTML document, then you can give inside your script tag. Script tag, inside that your JavaScript code we are giving. It is preferred to use inside the head tags. Outside the head tag, inside your body and all, you can use it. Now, what are the objects available here in JavaScript? We have browser object, that is window. Okay, that is automatically created by the browser. These are the available methods for the window object. And we have document object that represents your HTML document. How these methods we are using, and which are the data types available, and what is a variable, how to create variable in JavaScript. Using these primitive types, we can use non-primitive also, we will see later. Operators available here in JavaScript, how to give comments in JavaScript, conditional statements, if else, if switch, then looping statements are there, while loop, do while loop, for loop syntaxes, break and continue, how it is working with looping statements and conditional statements. Then we learn how to create functions. Okay, so these all are important in JavaScript. Okay, you have to try that function program which I have given. Any doubt is there, ask me tomorrow. We'll continue tomorrow. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.